Tonight, with Syria convulsed in revolutionary chaos, its neighbor Israel taking decisive action. Israeli warplanes carrying out strikes across the country, leaving this airbase near Damascus in flames, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The target, Israel says, military sites, including the Assad regime's stockpiles of chemical and biological weapons, which it fears could fall into the hands of extremists.
The only interest we have is the security of Israel and its citizens.
Bashar al-Assad, Syria's toppled dictator, used chemical weapons against his own people during 13 bloody years of civil war. President Obama threatened strikes in response.
A red line for us is we start seeing a whole bunch of chemical weapons moving around or being utilized.
But didn't follow through. While President Trump mounted 2 waves of attacks during his first term. Israeli forces are also moving in on the ground, first capturing a buffer zone between Syria and the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights, and then edging troops further into Syria itself.
There was never any love lost between Israel and the Assad regime, but for 50 years, this was Israel's quietest border, and the Israeli government is determined to try to keep it that way.
Syrians fear Israel is taking advantage of their weakness to capture territory. Israel annexed the Golan after its military victory against its Arab neighbors in the 1967 war. But Israel today insisting its aim only to prevent chaos in Syria spilling over.
I emphasize it is a very limited and temporary step we took from security reasons.
The state of Israel and rebel-led Syria now uneasy new neighbors.
And Raf Sanchez joins us now from Tel Aviv. Raf, do we have any sense of the rebels' attitude towards the state of Israel?
So, Ellison, the main rebel group, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, known as HTS, is a Sunni Islamist group. It has its origins in al-Qaeda. That is not an ideological profile that is friendly to Israel, to say the least. On top of that, you have the leader of that group, who is probably the single most powerful man in Syria right now. His family is originally from the Golan Heights. They were displaced by Israeli forces in 1967. That's why he goes by the pseudonym, the nom de guerre, al-Jolani, which literally means in Arabic, from the Golan. So he has personal animus or reasons for personal animus towards Israel. All of that said, HTS has been very eager to telegraph moderation to the world. They have not been making threats towards Israel. They do seem more interested in domestic governance inside of Syria rather than international jihad outside of it. And there is this irony here that Israel and the rebels share enemies, Iran, Hezbollah, and part of the reason the rebels were successful in overthrowing Assad is that Israel had done so much damage to both Iran and Hezbollah over the last year or so. Allison.
And Raf, when you're speaking with your sources in the region, what do they and other experts think the fall of Assad could mean for the broader conflict in the Middle East?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So, big picture, it is clear this is a major blow to Iran. Syria was a key part of Iran's chain that linked them with Hezbollah on the Mediterranean. Their ability to project power throughout the region pretty severely limited now that Syria has been overtaken by the rebels. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel was actually at a press conference earlier today. He was making the argument that this leaves Hamas in Gaza more isolated because that is one more anti-Israel power in the Assad regime that has fallen away. And he is trying to make the case that this might make Hamas more open towards some kind of deal to release the hostages and to end the war.
Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. I want to give our praises and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, forgive me the spirit, to do this lesson. This is a World War III update. As you see in the clip before, you have the fake Jews, the gutter rats, I call them. All right, you have them bombing the shit out of Syria. Okay, right after the rebels took over, which we know the U.S. Okay, and those gutter rats are responsible for all this. Okay, it's a setup. They obviously set it up. Okay, and right after Assad fled, Assad military, okay, the Assyrian military put their arms down, all right, and they fled. After that happened, all of a sudden now you got these fake Jews bombing the shit out of Syria, okay, hitting, targeting over, I think they said 250 to 300 targets, okay, and as you hear in the clip, some of those targets were military arsenal, military bases with bombs and weapons and different weapons on it. And you hear they mention about the chemical weapons, which they say those are the same type of weapons that Assad used against his own people years ago, okay, which even at that time, he was saying that it was the fake Jews that did it. They're the ones that set up the whole, the bombing of the chemical bombing that messed up a lot of Syrians some years back, okay, during this whole thing leading up to now. Okay, but the reason why I started with Proverbs 21 verse 1, I'm going to read it again. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. Right. Okay, so what the Lord is doing, he is controlling this whole thing. He is controlling this whole thing, man. Okay, the Lord is playing chess with them, man. They ain't nothing but chess pieces that the Lord is moving when he wants to move it. Okay, so when those fake Jews will sleep, the military, he put it in their mind to do that. Okay, to cause more chaos. All right, to cause more chaos. Okay, for a bigger gathering. All right, and the movement of that prophecy, gathering all these nations together. Okay, again, that's what we're seeing. So this is a World War III update. As you see, they're moving forward, okay, with taking over Syria. Okay, now, when it comes to Russia, Russia had military bases in Syria, and supposedly the rebels in Russia got a deal. They say, I don't know fully, but that's what I'm hearing. Okay, and plus they don't want to touch Russia, all right, because they know that would be a big mistake. Okay, so if the fake Jews saying, well, we're bombing the shit out of Syria because we don't want the rebels to get these weapons, but then you're backing, you in the U.S. are backing those same rebels, come on, man. It's a game. It's a game, man. Okay, so of course they're going to take the opportunity to bomb all those different spots and military bases. Okay, so Iran and Russia, especially Iran, okay, they're going to have to respond in some type of way moving forward, man, to what just took place. Okay, that's why Biden and them is calling it historic, an historic moment. So you got to understand what that means, why they're saying it that way, man. Like I said in my last lesson, Syria is a hot spot. It is a hot spot, man. Okay, they all want that position in Syria. Okay, for World War III, to be in a better position for World War III. But at the end of the day, Yahweh Bashim Awashai is guiding their minds, okay, through all this, man. That's what we're seeing. And we just got to wait and be patient. But the gathering is happening right before our eyes. We just got to wait. So just a quick update to edify the hopeful elect around the world. Keep your watch. You got to keep watching. Watch prophecy. And I will continue through the Spirit to update you on the World War III updates. With that, I want to give our praises and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, forgive me the Spirit, to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to you, Akim out there that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.